Live from Studio 1396, this is The Late Lap. I'm AJ England. It's nice to have you tonight. You know, when we talk about things here and there, a lot of things really happen. And it's sometimes they're in our head, sometimes they're not really happening, and other times they are. And I think, you know, it makes people a little bit nauseous and nervous and scared because they don't know what's next. Because of that, oftentimes people are stuck living in the past. People are nostalgic. And if there's one group of people that are nostalgic, it's definitely those of the auto racing world. And that's what I think makes Late Lap so special, where we pack, more speed, drama, and chrome-plated chaos and 30 to 60 minutes than you would ever see in a restrictor plate race at Talladega. Tonight's episode is a full-throttle sprint, and I'm calling it the half hour of power. So buckle in. We're talking first tonight about Atlanta Motor Speedway's new name and what it really means when a track changes their identity. We'll slide into Nashville's NASCAR weekend next, where the concrete was hot, but the tempers were hotter. Then we're shifting gears with a first look at the 2025 Corvette. Did Chevy finally outdo themselves? I say yes. And to wrap it all up, we go back in time, literally, for a deep dive into the 1999 IROC showdown at Michigan. A forgotten banger packed with legends, all killer, no filler. Let's go racing. First up again, we did mention EchoPark Speedway. Atlanta Motor Speedway is no more. Long live EchoPark Speedway. You know, I think that kind of has a nice ring to it. What do you think? The reason that it's special is because it really was kind of breaking. But it wasn't at the same time anything crazy, anything unheard of. We've seen where tracks have changed things before. So before anyone jumps to any conclusions about tradition being tossed in the trash, just take a breath. This isn't the first time a historic racing venue has taken on a new identity. And frankly, it will not be the last. In fact, it may be one of the strongest indicators in years that the motorsports economy is not only surviving, it's thriving. Remember when Lowe's bought naming rights to Charlotte Motor Speedway? It definitely became Lowe's Motor Speedway for over a decade and helped define NASCAR's boom era. How about Sears Point or Infineon Raceway in Sonoma during the 90s and 2000s? They weren't just branding deals, they were investments. Investments that suggested real belief in NASCAR's long-term audience and, more importantly, in the power of live sports venues to move products, build relationships, and grow market share. The EchoPark deal feels very much the same. Sonic Automotive, a Fortune 300 company, isn't playing small ball. EchoPark Automotive isn't just putting their name on a wall or slapping some logos on pit boxes. They're activating. Their fan zone takeovers, restart branding, victory lane presence. They're even awarding the race winner a nearly new Silverado and a limited edition Harley-Davidson motorcycle. More than sponsorship, showmanship. This partnership is a 7-year, multi-million-dollar deal. That doesn't just speak to marketing ambition. It screams confidence. Confidence in the NASCAR product, confidence in the fan base, confidence in Atlanta's unique spot on the Cup Series calendar as both a super speedway style race and a regional powerhouse that draws fans from Georgia, Tennessee, and Alabama. From an economic standpoint, this is a major win. It signals at companies that are again seeing racing venues that are bigger than billboards. And they are more cultural epicenters at the track. With national TV coverage, packed grandstands, and now TNT launching later in the summer their NASCAR portion from the EchoPark Speedway, the return on investment potential is huge. Of course, it's a write-off too. Go ahead and Google who owns EchoPark. EchoPark isn't dipping their toe in water though. They are doing a big old cannonball. And credit to Speedway Motorsports for leaning into the momentum. EchoPark already has a footprint across 9 SMI facilities, but making Atlanta their flagship naming rights property elevates both brands. EchoPark gets a massive platform, the Speedway gets a fresh, energized partner who understands marketing in the modern age, and the fans, they get the same wild, side-drafting, wall-scraping action, just with a few more green logos on the fence. Let's be real, no one is going to stop calling it Atlanta overnight. Just like people still say Sears Point, or The Rock, or The Glen. Even if it's not a brand, once there's a nickname, or a name, that's its status. But EchoPark Speedway now joins a legacy of rebranded tracks that rose to the moment. They met the era, and they embraced the future. This is a bold move, and boldness has always been a part of NASCAR's DNA. So here's to EchoPark Speedway, a new name, a big bet, and a welcome sign that business is booming in stock car country. Sunday night. We wanted to talk about this yesterday, but with Beckman's crash, we just didn't really have the chance to get into the oval racing world. Sunday night at Nashville Superspeedway, Ryan Blaney finally found the finish line that had eluded him all season long. In a commanding race, he led 139 of 300 laps and secured his first win of 2025 in the Cracker Barrel 400. For the 2003 NASCAR Cup Series champion, this wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. It's been a turbulent season for the driver of the number 12 Team Penske Ford. Between untimely DNFs and brake mechanical failures, Blaney's year has been defined more by frustration and speed, but Sunday proved that he still knows how to close. 3 seconds ahead of rising star Carson Hocevar. The emotion was obvious. After climbing from his car, Blaney sprinted into the stands to hand his checkered flag to a young fan. A spontaneous moment that captured both relief and release. This wasn't just a trophy, it was a reset. We've had adversity, and then this hasn't really been a really good year, he said. But the 12 boys are awesome, he continued. They stick with it no matter how it goes. His win now puts all 3 Penske cars into the 2025 playoffs, joining teammates Joey Logano and Austin Cindric in what's shaping up to be a formidable postseason charge for the Ford's powerhouse. Think about how crazy that is. IndyCar, they've got their own issues. Then they've got Mr. Cindric gone. Austin Cindric has won before Ryan Blaney. Not anymore. Now all 3 drivers in the playoffs, and it's like you hit the reset button. In the race behind Blaney, Carson Hocevar turned heads with a career-best runner-up finish, while Denny Hamlin, who led 79 laps, finished third despite in-car hydration system issues. Joey Logano and William Byron rounded out the top 5, and notably, Kyle Larson came back from a 28th place starting spot and a mid-race incident to finish 8th, a gritty performance from the current championship runner-up. There were 18 lead changes among 9 drivers, and Blaney also took stage 2. Most importantly, his name is now locked into the in-season bracket challenge beginning June 28th at EchoPark Speedway. After months of misfortune, Ryan Blaney didn't just win at Nashville, he reminded everybody why he's a champion. Next on the docket is something really cool, because when you go to the racetrack, you think of family. Remember when Kevin Harvick burst onto the NASCAR scene in the late 90s? A hungry young wheelman from Bakersfield suddenly thrust into Dale Earnhardt's seat in 2001, carrying the weight of a grieving fan base and a rising team on his shoulders. Fast forward to now, and his son Keelan is already racing against him and winning. Let that sink in. The once up-and-coming star is now retired, a father, and watching the next generation not only follow in his tire tracks, but pass him in them. At the Cars Tour West Mission Bank 250 at Kern County Raceway, the headline matchup wasn't just 2 talented drivers, it was Kevin versus Keelan Harvick, father versus son, experience versus energy. A 75-lap pro late model doubleheader turned into a full-circle moment, equal part nostalgia and next-gen promise. In the first race, Kevin showed the kid he still had it. Keelan started on the pole and led the early laps, but Kevin, lurking just behind, made his move after the competition caution on lap 40. Using the high groove, he seasoned like a pro, he slipped by his son and never looked back. Smooth, calculated, textbook Harvick, the 2014 NASCAR champ, cruised to the checkers with a knowing grin. But in the second race, Keelan got his revenge and then some. The younger Harvick inherited the lead after a chaotic wreck involving his dad, Buddy Shepard, and Jacob Gomes in the closing laps. But this wasn't a gift win. On the restart, Keelan lost the top spot to Kenna Mitchell, only to battle back aggressively, pulling a clean crossover move and taking command with 5 to go. From there, it was all Keelan, confident, fast, and fearless. He said, "I can't thank all my fans enough or my Rackley WAR guys." And then, of course, as any young child would after a win, he screamed, "Let's go!" You could hear the joy and disbelief in his voice, the thrill of a young man who just beat his childhood hero, his father. Technically, the night ended in a 1-1 draw. Kevin won the first feature, Keelan won the second. But if we're being honest, the emotional win went to Keelan. Kevin's smile in the post-race interview said it all. Pride, maybe a little surprise, and definitely the recognition that this was the start of something special. Father and son will race a few more times together, even this year, and the score is still tied. But beyond the stats, beyond the lap charts, is the legacy. Now we're talking another generation. We're watching one Harvick era slowly hand the keys to another. And for those of us who remember Kevin's first races, the idea that his kid is now crossing under the flag stand first, that's more than full circle. It's downright poetic. So whether you're Team Dad or Team Keelan, one thing's for sure, the battle of the Harvicks is only just beginning, and it already feels like the best story in racing you didn't know that you needed. It's not often a car earns the label historic before it even rolls off the production line. But the 2025 Chevrolet Corvette ZR1 is not your average performance car. It is a thunderclap on all 4 wheels. And that's why today, the 2025 Chevrolet Corvette ZR1 is our car of the day. Let's cut straight to the stats. With 1,064 horsepower and 828 foot-pound of torque coming from a twin-turbocharged 5.5-liter flat plane crank V8, yes, a DOHC monster dubbed the LT7, this thing rockets from 0 to 60 in a staggering 2.3 seconds with the ZTK performance package. Quarter mile looks like an NHRA dragster, nearly 9 seconds. Trap speed up to 152 mile an hour, and all of that was achieved using 93 octane pump gas on a non-prep drag surface. To say the ZR1 is redefining American muscle would be an understatement. It's taken a sledgehammer to every expectation about what a Corvette is and what a domestic supercar can be. Chevrolet's engineers didn't stop with just speed. The ZR1 is a balance of brutality and finesse. The available ZTK package includes an aggressive carbon fiber aero kit that adds over 1,200 pounds of downforce at top speed. Think about that for a second. A street-legal car with downforce numbers rivaling full-blown race cars. That helps explain how this Corvette can confidently reach 233 mile an hour, making it the fastest production car ever built by an American automaker. And yet, it's still a Corvette. A grand tour at heart with a refinement to cruise when it isn't tearing asphalt from the road. Thanks to Corvette's standard launch control and its customizable cousin Custom Launch Control, the ZR1 delivers acceleration with precision. You can dial in your preferred launch RPM and wheel slip targets right from the steering wheel. It's a drag strip tool, a track day warrior, and a jaw-dropping flex piece at your local Cars and Coffee, all in one package. Compared to its predecessors, the Stingray with the Z51 package does 0 to 60 in 2.9, the Z06 and the Z07 shaves down to 2.6, the new electric E-Ray does even quicker at 2.5. But the ZR1, 2.3 seconds, a new benchmark. As Josh Holder, chief engineer of Corvette, put it, the 2025 Corvette ZR1 yet again exceeded our expectations, and how could it not? This thing isn't just a car, it's an engineering mic drop. From launch to lap time, the ZR1 is a track weapon that doesn't demand a trailer or a race crew, but it's also the kind of machine that shows just how far Chevrolet has come in a short time. From the front engine days Of rumbling 427s to the current mid-engine masterpieces, the ZR1 is the spiritual culmination of everything Corvette has ever been, and more. So, whether you're chasing lap records, stoplight bragging rights, or just looking for the meanest Corvette ever built, the 2025 ZR1 might be the final word. And that's why the 2025 Corvette ZR1 is our car of the day. You know, folks, when we talk about the car of the day, we always have something exciting, oftentimes American, but we go all over the world. But we're really talking about generations, and that's what makes the next topic so exciting. It is a race in time, the 1999 IROC race at Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, gather round, close your eyes, and let me take you back to a day when the asphalt sang and the air cracked with anticipation. It was June 1999 at Michigan Speedway, the Irish hills alive with the roar of engines and the pulse of a crowd that knew they were witnessing something special. The True Value International Race of Champions, IROC 23, Race 3 of 4, wasn't just a race, it was a story, a saga, a father and son. Take note from earlier, maybe? A father and son that locked in a duel that would be etched in the annals of motorsport forever. They called it a race, but I call it a race in time, because that's what it was. Dale Earnhardt Sr., the Intimidator, against Dale Earnhardt Jr., the Young Lion, in a battle that transcended the checkered flag. Picture this, 12 of the world's finest drivers strapped into identical Pontiac Firebird Transams, 380 horsepower beasts built to level the playing field. No team orders, no fancy setups, just raw talent, nerve, and the will to win. IROC was the great equalizer where Indy 500 champs like Kenny Brack rubbed fenders with Kart's Greg Moore, where NASCAR's finest Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, and Mark Martin faced off against the best from every corner of racing. But in '99, all eyes were on two names, Earnhardt Sr., the 7-time Winston Cup champ, a 2-time IROC king already victorious at Daytona and Talladega that year, leading the points with a swagger that said, "Catch me if you can," and Junior, the 24-year-old rookie fresh off a Busch Series title starting on the front row, hungry to prove he was more than just his father's shadow. The Michigan Speedway, a 2-mile oval with sweeping turns, 73 feet wide was the stage, 50 laps, 100 miles. And a crowd buzzing like a hive, knowing this wasn't just about points or purses, it was about legacy. The green flag dropped and Jeff Burton, the pole sitter, surged ahead, but the Earnhardts were never far. Senior started dead last, 12th, alongside defending IROC champ Mark Martin. Junior, in that bright orange car, clung to the leaders, his eyes darting to the mirror, knowing his old man was carving through the pack like a shark through water. Early on, it was chaos. 3 wide, 4 wide, tires screaming as drivers danced on the edge of control. Michigan wasn't Daytona or Talladega, where drafting was king. Here, you needed finesse. You needed car control. The kind of instinct that separated the great from the good. Burton led, then Junior snatched the lead on lap 14, the crowd roaring as the kid showed his teeth. But Senior, he was biding his time, picking off cars, Cheever, Jarrett, Fernandez, until by lap 24 he was right there, second to Mark Martin, with Junior hot on his heels. The broadcast booth was electric. The last rows become first and second. Their voices were hoarse, because who could have scripted that? Halfway through, the race tightened. Tires wore, fuel burned off, and the cars shifted, some looser, some tighter. Greg Moore, the kart Wonder King, was a revelation, hanging with the stock car boys, his red car a blur as he battled for the top 5. Bobby Labonte, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, they were all there, scrapping, diving low, swinging high, but the story was up front. On lap 30, Senior made his move, slipping past Martin into the lead, and Junior, like a shadow, followed, taking second, father and son 1 and 2, with 19 laps to go. The crowd was on its feet, sensing history. Now, let me paint you the picture of that final act. With 15 laps to go, the Earnhardts were untouchable, but the pack was closing. Moore surged, briefly snatching second from Junior, only for the kid to claw it back. Gordon, Wallace, Martin, they were all there, a freight train of talent. But nobody could touch the Earnhardts. Junior was relentless, probing high, then low, searching for a way around his father. Senior, though, he was a wall. His car suddenly 72.5 feet wide, as one official quipped, every line Junior tried, Senior blocked. Not with malice, but with the craft of a master who'd seen it all. The white flag waved, and one lap to go. I still can hear that crowd. A tidal wave of sound as Junior made his move. Coming out of turn 4, he swung high, then dove low, pulling alongside his dad. They touched, fenders kissing, paint swapping, a father teaching his son, a son challenging his father. The grandstands shook as they barreled down the front stretch, nose to nose. Senior's dark blue car against Junior's orange. I was screaming. They're side by side. It was great. And it was. Senior, the Intimidator, held the bottom line, using every trick in his book, air, momentum, sheer will, to edge Junior by a whisper, maybe 3 feet. The checkered flag fell and Michigan erupted. Dale Earnhardt Sr. had done it. His third straight IROC win of 99, enough to clinch the championship, joining Rusty Wallace as the only driver to pull off that feat. But Junior, oh Junior, he'd pushed his dad to the limit, finishing second, proving he was no pretender. The victory lane was pure. It was magic. Senior, grinning, said I knew he'd come. He was working the high line, but I held him at the bottom. We got to racing, bumped a little, and got exciting. Junior also admitted brightly, he said, he sucked the air off my car, got me back by a mile. I just wanted to make it close. How's my Earnhardt? Like father, like son, they said, and the fans ate it up, knowing they'd seen a passing of the torch, even if Senior wasn't ready to hand it over just yet. That race wasn't just about who won. It was about a moment frozen in time. 2 Earnhardts, side by side, giving everything for pride, for family, for glory, for NASCAR. Senior went on to clinch the IROC title officially later that year at Indy. But Michigan, that was the heart of it. Greg Moore ran a hell of a race, finishing 9th, best of the open-wheelers. Labonte, Gordon, Martin, they all shone, but the story was Dale and Dale. It was the Intimidator, still king, and the kid, ready to wear the crown someday. Years later, I sit here, and I can still feel it. The rumble, the heat, the heartbeat of that day. A race in time. That's what it was, because it captured everything racing is. Skill, guts, and the ties that bind. Father and son, mentor and student, legend and heir. Michigan 1999 wasn't just a race. It was a legacy one will tell for generations. And we are through the Keelan and Kevin Harvick days now. We are through Kyle Busch and Brexton. It's happening. We are in the next generation of autosport, and I hope you're all loving it as much as I do. We're seeing it in drag racing with Jimmy and Austin Prock, with John and Brittany Force, with the nephew Kalita, champion at an older age, and Doug, Connie getting to celebrate. Generations is still what makes auto racing so special. Don't forget it. And that brings us to the end of tonight's show. It was a little bit of a quick one, but we covered a few things. We had a car of the day, we had a race in time, and we really, hopefully, got to enjoy one another's company. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Last week, we hit over 100,000 views. This week, we hit over a 500 subscriber mark on our way to 1,000. I definitely encourage you to push that button. I'd appreciate it. To my friends in the South, sea amable consigo mismo. Sea amable con otros. Sonría, sea feliz. Hasta entonces, cuídese. And as I say at the end of every great show, be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Smile. Be happy. And until then, take care. I will not be on Thursday night, but you can tune us in tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here at latelap.com, Thursday through Sunday. AJ will be at Bristol Motor Speedway for the NHRA drag races. I can't wait to tell you all about it. Good night, my friends.
and a fella